Does Henry Pollock have an attitude problem, or does rugby have a personality problem? It's a question that I've been thinking about in the last couple of days since Northampton Saints gave Castra an absolute beatdown to make another Champions Cup semi-final. Really, really good performance from them. The remaining English competitor in the Champions Cup. Again, another semi-final that they got to last year. And yet the talk coming out of that Northampton game has a lot of it centred around Henry Pollock and his behaviour on the rugby field, splitting opinion between this is a breath of fresh air and a big character that we should celebrate, and a lot of people saying he needs to wind his neck in and show a bit more humility. And I'll be interested to know what you think about this and where you stand. I was just looking back at the comments on the video following the Northampton game. I did an instant hot take video, and the comments split right down the middle. So I do read them and I do get stuck in with them. So let me know what you think down below. Let me just give you a few of the comments that were said on that previous video, just to give you an example. Pollock needs to give his head a wobble. There's one. And then the next one said, if Pollock was from the Southern Hemisphere, people would say he was the entertainer the game needed. So potentially, is it like Englishmen doing this kind of thing tend to go down worse than other nationalities doing it, just because England aren't a team that are liked by neutrals too much? Pollock is an idiot, says this comment. I hope Leinster give Northampton the same show, and then we'll see what the comments are to his soccer behaviour. So again, people basically saying this is not rugby behaviour, what we're seeing from Henry Pollock. And then another comment said, what a fabulous guy Henry Pollock is. A breath of fresh air in a sport with very few marketable stars. One little fact for you. Already, he's only in his first professional season in the Northampton Saints first team, and he's already the most followed player from Northampton Saints on Instagram. So he is definitely a marketable star. There were kids turning up to the game dressed as Henry Pollock. So he is clearly capturing the imagination of a lot of people, but that seems to be butting its head with the rugby values argument and the way that it's always been done, and the traditions, and that rugby's not like football and all the rest of it. And then this one, Pollock came across as an utter prick, says this comment. Clearly very good, but he's done nothing to back up the swagger. Where do you stand on that? I had a look at some stats about Henry Pollock. I'll get onto the behaviour in a second, but this is an amazing rugby player. I have gone on and on and on and on this channel in the last year or so about Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu. I think that guy is a generational talent, and he just plays with a big smile on his face. He tries amazing things. He backs it up. He shows incredible confidence, stepping up to the Stormers and then stepping up to the international stage and whacking over that 60-metre penalty just comfortably. He just was like to the manner born. And I think when players step up and have that kind of mentality and are able to do it, and Henry Pollock has done it on the international stage as well with 2 tries on his debut for England, albeit against Wales, but nonetheless, he did it. This is a guy that's got a very rare ability, but a very rare mindset. And I think this might be a classic case of what's referred to as tall poppy syndrome, which is a term that was used to describe people that have really, really notable success and are quite confident and happy to whether it's people talking about their successes or just behaving with confidence as regard their own ability. And the tall poppy syndrome is the process where that gets met with a lot of scrutiny and a lot of criticism, and people want to cut down the tall poppy. And I think this might be a classic case of it there. And I think this probably is all because rugby has always seen itself as very different from other sports. And it is a very stiff upper lip, stoic team. I mean, rugby, the origins of rugby are it was a sport that was invented to teach schoolboys how to be army officers, basically. That was the purpose of rugby originally. And the military is very much know your place. You're in a hierarchy. If you're young, you have to earn your stripes, literally, or stripes on your arm. And you keep a low profile, keep your head down until then. And I think that is generally, that origin of rugby has carried through into the way people think about rugby, such that when some people see Henry Pollock doing a basketball celebration after he scores a try, they don't like it. And we have seen this before. You think of big characters, big, different characters, people that break the mould, do things differently, behave with confidence. Quite often they are disliked. And I think particularly when it's an Englishman doing it, it's prone to being extra specially disliked. But I do think that we need to celebrate this and get over it. Because what was that comment? It said, a breath of fresh air in a sport with very few marketable stars. The reality is rugby is a minority sport. There are parts of the world, New Zealand, South Africa, France to a lesser degree. There are parts of the world where rugby is a massive deal. And even in those countries, it's still behind soccer and in some cases other sports. Rugby is a minority sport around the world. So when we do get people that can be celebrated, I just think we need to do it. And I think rugby's shooting itself in the foot by having a pop at Henry Pollock. For one thing, what was that one comment there? Clearly good, but he's done nothing to back up the swagger. Well, Henry Pollock has made more turnovers than any player in the Champions Cup this season. He is second equal on tries in the competition with Tommy Freeman, behind Damien Penaud this season. He has made the 5th most tackles in the Champions Cup this season. The team he's playing in are in the semi-finals of the Champions Cup. And out of all the teams that are remaining in the Champions Cup, Northampton Saints spend far, far less on players than any other team. That will probably be reflected in the result against Leinster. So what Northampton Saints have managed to do in the Champions Cup has been amazing. Henry Pollock's been a key part of that. And I would also point to the showboating. So some people had an issue. So going back to what did he do? So when he scored that try, that photograph there, he stood in the dead ball area and he waited until the Castra player got close to him. Then he put the ball down, dodged out the way like a matador dodging a bull, and then he did that basketball celebration. And that ruffled some people's feathers a little bit and thought, that's a little bit cocky, that's showboating, that's put the ball down, score the try, and then, celebrate a little bit if you want to. And I guess, yeah, you could say that was a bit slightly, excuse my language, shithousery from Henry Pollock. I would go with that. There is a bit of context here that I think is important to add. A lot of people have said, he's going to end up, in fact, some of the comments talked about him, he's going to get filled in if he carries on behaving like this. Missing the fact that in this match, when you go back and watched it, and I went back and I've checked the minutes and when things happened, just a few minutes before he scored that second try, Castra had a player sent to the sin bin for an illegal cheap shot, chicken wing shoulder shot on his ribs at a breakdown. Henry Pollock was in there trying to turn over the ball, and a Castra player completely illegally tried to wipe him out. Illegally, in a dangerous fashion. Could have injured him. Firstly, Henry Pollock didn't react to that. In fact, he took it really, really well. He got smashed and didn't move. So clearly, he's not actually a massive back rower, but he's really strong. He took the shot well, stood up, watched as the player got given a yellow card, then he went through and scored. And I almost think if you're going to cheap shot, if he did the celebration after someone tried to cheap shot him, and I almost think, well, that's fair enough. That's the way that you answer the opposition, don't they? They try and cheap shot you illegally. You score a try and enjoy yourself when you do. I think that's the right way round to do it. It wasn't the case that he did his showboating and that annoyed Castra, and then they tried to take him out. which is, I think, the way some people are describing what happened, but it isn't. But all of that is separate from the bigger point here is, shouldn't we be celebrating this guy? I think of guys like Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu, like Henry Pollock. There aren't many of these young marketable stars. I already mentioned, he's clearly capturing the imagination of a lot of young rugby fans. He's rapidly growing his profile online. And I'm currently sat here at LAX airport in California, and it's really been refreshing, and it's really struck me this week I've been here. You drive around and there are billboards for the big NBA stars, just them, 50 foot high. This is the country where they never cut down the tall poppy. They let them grow. They feed the plant to make it grow. They help it grow. They celebrate that. And is it any wonder that this is also a country that has the most marketable, the most profitable, the biggest, the most watched, the most financially lucrative sporting brands in the world? And what do we want rugby to be? I want as many, part of the reason this channel exists, I want as many people as possible to enjoy rugby for all of the amazing things that it does. And the discipline, the challenge, the social aspect, the leadership skills, all of these amazing things that rugby's given me, the friendships I've made. I want as many people as possible to enjoy that. I also think the sport is just an amazing one to watch because it's that awesome balance of artistry and brutality that I think is so special. So I want as many people to enjoy it, to watch it, and we're not going to help rugby grow or be watched if we cut down all the tall poppies, if you squeeze everyone into the same size and shape. I've been a person who stands there. I spent 7 years as a reporter on the telly with BT Sport, asking the questions. And unfortunately, the way it goes, because we react to good players and people that are a bit different like this, they end up giving you, a lot of the time, cliche answers. The same thing you've always heard, because they don't want to fall outside the mould of acceptable behaviour. They want to be the team guy. They want to do the right thing, have the rugby values. It's not as much fun to watch. It doesn't create the stories or the enjoyment. It's not going to help rugby grow. And I just think rugby needs to get over itself. This is a very, very special player. It's got a long way to go. Got a long way to go. There have been great players before that have been brilliant, age 20, that you thought were going to be superstars, and it didn't actually happen for them. But enjoy yourself while you're playing. Why not? So I say, don't change Henry Pollock. Keep doing what you're doing, and let's enjoy it. And let's not cut down the tall poppy. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. I'll be very interested in this one. So I'll be down there in the comments with you. I'll see you on the next video.